Welcome back to another Trading Journal entry. Today is September 12th, 2025. This is New York session, 30th trade out of 100 now. We have 70 remaining, and today's result was 2 wins, 2 contracts. Anyway, man, I'm tired, bro, and it's bright as hell. I just got home. Today's trade took a while. I was at work for a while. I think I left around like 8. Traffic in Oregon during the morning times like this is just bonkers, man. Like you might as well stay home. If you work at 8 a.m., you might as well leave at 6:30 a.m. As in you are in your car getting ready to pull out your driveway or whatever, heading towards the freeway if you work in Portland. Traffic is stupid. Anyway, but yeah, today's result was 2 wins, 2 contracts. And that means we had 1 trade and a second trade. So let's get into it. P&L for the first trade was $485. P&L for the second was $650 for a total of $1,135. Both trades were a risk reward ratio of 1.5 evenly, and total being 3. My RR being 3. So let's get into the whole thing. ChatGPT and me were struggling a bit for about 20 minutes. Wow. For about 20 minutes. It's 9:21, by the way, a.m. But we were struggling about 20 minutes here trying to, because a lot happened today in terms of like setups, like spotting confluences to get my setups, validation, continuation, confirmations, and execution. But again, it still worked out, as you see. But yeah, me and ChatGPT were struggling a bit to make a summary because that thing I sent was at least an essay, dude. Like it's like those one messages you send on iMessage, and it's so long it turns into like that little section where you have to click on it to see the rest, and it's like a whole notes thing. If you know, I guess. But anywho, I'm gonna just get into all this. It's gonna be a little off for sure. I already read it through, and it's definitely off. But I'm gonna do my best. Everything was everywhere today, all at once, but I'm still going to do my best to explain this. I just hope whoever is watching can understand, and I hope I can understand in the future if I ever need to go back to this specific video or session. So I'm sorry if I don't understand this, future me. Anyway, let's just get into it and not waste any more time. This is Friday after all, last trade of this week. So let's just make it easy. So today's bias was initially bearish during pre-market until market open price action wicked to the upside, creating the second bearish SMT, first from pre-market, and breaker structure to the downside, giving candle closure inside a bearish order block on the 5-minute time frame and wicking into a 4-hour bullish fair value gap, clear sign of high time frame respect, and a bullish SMT formed on the same candle. So this all happened around like 6:30 a.m., 6:35 a.m., I think, give or take. I believe it was right after market open. So crazy. Anyway, my setup, market open, liquidity grab with bearish SMTs, pre-market and market open, leading to breaker structure and 5-minute bearish order block confirmation, high time frame context, 4-hour bullish fair value gap respected, bullish SMT formation after breaker structure, 3-minute bullish fair value gap during the climb back up, retrace into pre-market 1-minute and 3-minute bullish order blocks, and 3-minute bullish fair value gap for first entry. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Second entry stacked confluences, 1-minute bullish fair value gap, 1-minute bullish order block, 1-minute bullish SMT, news wick expanding order block zone, breaker structure to upside, retrace into 1-minute bullish inverse fair value gap, and then including a 3-minute bullish inverse fair value gap, and then S&P sweep visible across 1 minute through 5-minute time frames, invalidation of bearish fair value gap, now bullish inverse fair value gap. That sounds fucking insane. Like a whole lot of nothing, dude. Just hear me out. I'm gonna read this whole thing until we get to entry, and then what I did well, what I will improve in notes will be after. Because I'd rather just show you guys today's charts than... Anyway, entry. First entry, long from retrace into pre-market bullish order block and a 3-minute bullish fair value gap. Take profit, SL, based on 1.5 RR. And then second trade, long after invalidation of bearish fair value gap, now bullish inverse fair value gap with confluence from SMT, order block, and inverse fair value gap. TP set above 4-hour key level, and really based off of risk reward. So today's take profit and SLs for both trades were for key levels. Like you'll see in my charts that TP was either close to the key levels or same with SL. But even though it looks like I should set it there, it was more based off of like risk reward. I didn't want to risk too much just to have my take profit perfectly on that, key level where I want it to be. Anyway, let's get this off my screen and let's move this over here. And there is a lot of markings, and it's going to be easy for not only you to get lost, but me as well. But I will do my best. It was easier when, looking at the charts at the time, because everything was behind me. But now that price has moved so far, yes, I checked the charts just now, and Jesus, but now that price has moved so far and you can see everything within the same moment, it's going to be very, very overwhelming and disorienting. So let's switch here and let's get into it. And boom. Yes, you can see we have a high, compact confluence moment within this time frame between 5:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Technically 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., but who cares? Anyway, so you can see the bearish SMT. I'm going to try to not move so much because it is laggy. But yeah, two bearish SMTs. As you guys can see, we have this green line and this second green line. We have this bearish order block. I believe this is on the 3-minute or 1-minute. And then we have the bullish SMT. We have this bullish order block from 3-minute and 1-minute time frame. And then zooming in a little closer around market open, you can see we have this bullish SMT that formed prior to the wick up of the bearish SMT. But yeah, so I think that's everything for the 5-minute time frame. Not a lot happened on the 5-minute time frame. I can turn off all my markings and you can see I would have gotten nothing. Unless I would have wanted to enter here, but dude, I would not do that. No. So there we go. So moving on to the 3-minute time frame. 3-minute time frame worked flawlessly for me today. Although I haven't back tested the theory of using the 3-minute time frame as step 4 or step 3 validation and whatnot. It's showing today that it worked out pretty well, and I'm really glad it did, because if I didn't use the 3-minute time frame the way I did, or have usually, or I guess recently, then I definitely would have missed a trade today, or I wouldn't have had even a sort of a bias even. The bullish SMT gave me bullish bias, but I wouldn't have really gotten a continuation confirmation if it wasn't for a 3-minute time frame. So yeah, let me just scale up here. There we go. Dude, it's so laggy. Jeez. Anyway, as you can see during market open, we can see that wick I was talking about. Decent retrace. There was a bearish order block here on the 5-minute time frame, I believe. We did get candle closure on that, but the wick into this 4-hour fair value gap was so clean. It told me everything I needed, including the bullish SMT and then this liquidity sweep that was also a bearish SMT, right? And then moving on, you can see the 3-minute fair value gap. We got this invalidation, or not invalidation, sorry. We got candle closure here, around this area. I don't know what this is, this circle. I think it's an order block. I'll see. But we do have this 3-minute bullish fair value gap, and you can see clean retrace, equal lows, all that. I really did think price was going to go lower, so I was keeping, I mean, look, bearish SMT, 2 of it, bearish order block, all that. So I was keeping the previous, you know, bearish bias in mind, just in case this got invalidated. Because if this got invalidated, then it would have been game right there. Because this would have been a bearish inverse fair value gap, and I would have took that short any day. But yeah, so you can see, what's this? 1 minute. Sorry, I'm a little lost too, because it's just so much in the way. But you can see where I entered, obviously. But 3 minute fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, sorry. And then going down to the 1 minute time frame. Oh, wow. Damn, it's getting bright. Okay, hold on. I need to close my blinds. Nah. Dude, I almost clicked stop recording like 5 times on OBS. But anyway, if I can expand this here so you guys can see a little better. Anyway, you can see there was a 1 minute order block here. As you can see, it is now filled. Same with this order block I was talking about previously. That was visible on the 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute time frame. So we did get a decent retrace into this 1 minute order block, which I was peeping. So I was peeping just in case we invalidated this 3 minute fair value gap. We did wick past it, and I was watching it, man, but we entered a 3 minute bullish fair value gap, and then a basically what? How would you phrase this? 3 lower time frame bullish order block confluence. I don't know how to phrase this, but this order block is from, you know, it's visible on the 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute time frame in the same spot. So the fact it entered into this bullish fair value gap and then this bullish order block from those said time frames, and didn't even disrespect it, right? Didn't disrespect it. Gave clean wicks into, you know, I mean, we did wick past it, right? But I was still waiting for news for 7 a.m. Wow, dude, why does my screen do that? But anyway, so we did wick into it. I did take my entry here, and it did get a little scary. If anything, I should have waited till like around this candle, right? So I should have waited to enter like this technically for like more confirmation. But as you can see, there was consolidation. We did get decent wicks into this 1 minute order block. It did create equal highs, so I was peeping that as well. But the amount of, oops, that's too far. The amount of bullish, you know, imbalance from the downside here was outweighing this 1 minute order block, the solo runner here, including the 4-hour bullish fair value gap that we respected on pre-market open, or I'm sorry, on market open, and also the bullish SMT. You know, we had a lot of fighting, in my opinion. I was fighting with myself to either stick with the bearish bias or stick with the bullish bias. But again, it was just the solo rider here. Anyway, I just can't, I don't know how to explain it to make sense, but you know, at the time, seeing the way the candles were moving, you know, I'm not saying, because man, it's not just gonna go boom, boom. It's gonna go up and down, and seeing the way price action was moving gave me enough, you know, just an idea of what price wanted to do. Overall, my confluences lined up, and yeah. So although the entry here, I will admit, whoa. Yeah, okay. Although the entry here was a little risky, which is why I was kind of scared to even set at this key level line. I was thinking of setting it here at this bearish order block, like the top of the zone, but I think that would have worked, but I don't think I noticed that at the time. I was just trying to make sure I got in the trade, and I was not, you know, doing anything stupid to like lose the trade. But anywho, we got a clean retrace after a little bit of indecision and consolidation. And then, as you can see, we moved up and we hit TP. And now the second trade here is actually a little bit better, in my opinion. If this trade lost, I don't know how much I would have lost. I think like $300-400. This trade would have at least got me like a $230 P&L for the day, at least. But this would have been a decent flaw, like not like a major flaw in terms of like if we're thinking about like small, medium, large. This would have been a small. It would have been a medium. I would have, had to tell myself be patient and be more careful, and wait for more like what's it called, confirmation, like a validation of entry. Even though I did get a 3-minute bullish fair value gap and all that for retrace, and then bullish order block, and screw me though. Anywho, let's move on to the second trade though. You can see the P&L for the first trade. By the way, it's 485. And then moving on though, right after or during even, we have this right here, 1 minute bullish fair value gap. If I can grab this and like, I want to hear, but I guess I'll put it there too. Anywho, you can see this massive 1 minute bullish order block that we have here that we retrace into, and you can see the amount of shit we retraced into. I mean, look, you even got another bullish SMT. You got a bullish order block, bullish SMT, barely tapped that 3-minute bullish fair value gap, but the same way it reacted to this is the same way it reacted to this 4-hour bullish fair value gap. Just a side note. Anywho, we also got, the inverses, There's also one right here. Oh, no, that doesn't count. Okay, yeah, because... Oh, wait, no, it does. I just didn't notice that. Wow. Yeah, there's just so much going on in this section. But anyway, we did get a clean retrace off of all of this bullish imbalance. Like, there's so much. You can just look at this, man. This bullish order block was filled at this time. Technically after right here, like this full retrace right here is when it disappeared. So I will note side here on the side note, I was a little scared when that happened. Overall, this trade right here was a little risky. I will admit, I am saying that. I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, that'd be a perfect trade. No, it was a little risky, but it ended up working out, and I trusted my setup, and I trusted my trades, and I trusted my strategy. But this trade was definitely cleaner, and I had a little bit more confidence. Well, technically a lot more, because I mean, look at this. This clean ass retrace into this 1 minute inverse fair value gap though, definitely, by all means, gave me the clear green light to enter. You can even see there's a bullish fair value gap hiding under all these markings. Boom, as you can see. But this entry was spot on, man. I was considering to put it on this 4-hour key level, but it would have looked something like, it would have looked something like this, I think, in terms of like, this doesn't make sense, at least the way it looks. I got more profit though, just from raising my risk to 0.9%. But I was really not expecting price to break past this bullish fair value gap zone. If anything, I was expecting price, as you can see, to go into the middle of it more and then go back up. But as you can see, we didn't do that. So if it did do that from here, that would have been a crazy trade, dude. I mean, what? I don't even know how much it would be. 2 RR, that's not bad, but P&L, like, it's crazy. Anyway, we also got another bullish SMT here, as you can see, or bearish SMT, sorry, but I was more noting that for like, just watch out. We could get some sort of like fake out or reversal. I might have fucked up on this trade. So Anyway, you can see this trade was much cleaner. We did break past this bearish order block. That was great. We formed a bearish SMT during that invalidation of the bearish order block, or typically filling it. But yeah, so this trade, a little risky, you know, could have been more careful, could have waited for a little bit more, you know, confirmation of potential continuation. But I wanted to trust my strategy. I wanted to trust my setup, and I wanted to trust myself. And that has worked out very much, as you can see from last month and this month so far. So I will continue doing that. I will not be continuing taking trades like this though, for sure. Trades like this I will continue taking. If anything, I don't really have to risk it, but again, I know what that final monthly analysis is going to say from ChatGPT. This is a crazy This is too much. You're risking too much. 3.39 risk reward ratio. That don't make sense. Bruh. I guess I just gotta risk a shit ton more. I don't know. 0.07%, 0.09%. So technically the same. This is like probably like I'm risking $300 to $400. I'm risking around like $400 to $500, $600 maybe even. Yeah. So anyway, you can see price action has done some flawless work. We are now consolidating and treating technically this key level as a resistance zone. I think that's what it is. Support resistance. No, resistance is from the top and support's from the bottom. Yeah, so this is a support zone, and I'm assuming this is now resistance right here. I mean, we're about to see in like a couple minutes, but pretty sure we'll do one of these and then one of those and then one of those, if I'm wrong. Anyway, here's, wow. Jeez. So you can see my S&P chart. We have high time frame bullish confluence. So I had a lot to go off today. I don't think NASDAQ had the same. Yeah, it's only 1 or 2, 3, yeah. But overall, worked in harmony using S&P and using NASDAQ together on multiple different time frames, and it ended up working out for me. I'm happy about today's trade, honestly. More happy about this trade. If you can notice, we basically got 2 retraces, or technically 1 retrace per trade. So this trade, if I stretch it out to like, I guess here, where the order block, or yeah, the bullish order block starts, you can literally see that it retraces and then goes up and then does this. And then you can see it forms some sort of consolidation before, I don't even think it retraced into anything. Yeah, it just consolidated before moving back up. So it did form this bullish inverse fair value gap though. I was not worried about that. I just wanted my TP hit and to leave and go home. So yeah. Anywho, today's trade was, damn, 54. Today's trade was good. I'm more happy about the second one. I won't be risking trades like the first one anymore, for sure, unless I have, you know, better, I guess, entry validation on that. But yeah, 25 minutes. Wow. Try my best to make this fast, but I guess not. Anyway, let's get into what I did well, what I will improve, and notes. And yeah. Okay, so what I did well: stayed calm during strong retraces in both trades. Trusted confluence and executed based on setup structure. Kept composure and confidence during second trade after hesitation. What I will improve: remain grounded emotionally even after a strong week. I believe we did make up for the first week of this month. So this week definitely did way better than last week. I was I was definitely going for the let's make up for last week. This week, I was definitely having that in mind, or at least subconsciously. I wasn't saying that to myself like, oh, I need to do better than I did last week. I was honestly just going with the flow, and when I saw what I saw, when I spotted what I spotted, and everything lined up the way it needed to, I took advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, kept composure and confidence during second trade after hesitation. What I will improve, remain grounded emotionally even after a strong week. Begin building a system to track and manage emotional patterns observed during sessions. Stay disciplined around high impact news events next week. Next week is going to be an absolutely dreadful week for traders. Anybody in the financial scene will be absolutely jerking it to their screen. I mean, if we get rate cuts, we get rate cuts. If we don't, we don't. But I'll definitely... Hold on. I sat out for Powell because it was fair at the time, right? It was my first month. If anything, I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I just wanted to see how price action reacted to, Powell. During, the session. So, knowing what I know now, I'm going to sit out for rate cuts next week. But while watching price action of the said session, right? If price action doesn't look too bad, if we don't form some massive fucking Drake bearish candle or a massive bullish Drake candle to the upside, then I might trade, as in if price action doesn't look too crazy, as in like over exaggerating the volatility of that session, I might try to take my trade. But even if I sit out, I am going to try to spot confluences and see if I can take trades during those type of sessions or not. If I get let's say I get a bearish bias somehow, but then this and that happens during the announcement of rate cuts or not. Let's say I do a bearish bias, but then rate cuts happen. That means price action will go up. I would never trade during those type of news days then. But if we get rate cuts and I have a bearish bias and we still go bearish, I don't know. But anyway, I am going to definitely, spectate for next week though. Next week is a very important day for us traders, and we should be treating it as such with caution. Always caution. This week so far though, seems like, price action is betting on rate cuts next week. That's why we've been moving up so far. So it's gonna go crazy. A lot of the high, how do I say this? I guess the CEOs of companies and whatnot, like JP Morgan, is telling people, oh, the market's gonna crash during rate cuts next week, trying to instill some sort of fear into the unknowledgeable, basically to drive price down at some sort of discount to buy at a cheaper price to extend gains. So I think with seeing how the market has been acting this week, we are going to get rate cuts, and dude, we might blow through the roof. Right now we're tapping the ceiling, but we're not in the attic yet. And if anything, today we're in the attic. I mean, you saw we created all-time highs for NASDAQ. So if anything, we're already in the attic. We're just waiting to blow the roof off. So yeah, we gonna be crazy next week, but I'm gonna be so cautious. I don't know. I'm hoping I get dude, I hope I don't lose next week. But I think for sure next week might be either my, second loss or my third loss. Oh, who knows, man? We might get 2 losses 1 week. Hopefully not. But anywho, yeah. So notes, good session, a strong recovery from the first week of September this month. Confidence is building, but focus remains on discipline. We'll spectate on major rate cut announcement day unless price action is calm. So next week is going to be very, very important. We must stay cautious, stay vigilant or diligent, and make sure we don't get too cocky, It's easy to have a lot of wins. I mean, although I have 1 loss right now, I'm still up, So, of course, my losses don't amount to my wins. But again, I still lost. So don't sit here and say, hey, but you won all these times. You're faking it. I literally showed you a loss. So I think it was this week. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it. Anywho, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'm scared for I'm scared for next week. Anyway, okay, yeah, so that's everything, I guess. I'm gonna close this out after I upload this video. Actually, what am I doing? But yeah, so technically we'd be getting our second payout if we were on a XFA. So I think the P&L so far is 60. I don't want to load up TradingView. It takes forever. I think the profit level or the total P&L for the past 2 weeks is 6,400. Let's just say, you know what, 6,000. It's 6,000 for sure. So we've made quite a bit of profit this month so far. If we were on a combine, then we would have had our first payout at 2,000. So basically resetting our max drawdown to 50K, and then we would have 2 payouts so far. I think no. Oh yeah, we would. No, we wouldn't. We'd be eligible for a second payout next week. So then next week, at the end of next week, whatever I make next week, I think I might make an extra 2,000, let's say 1,500 for safety. That means my payout would be around 5,000. So 2,000, 5,000, 7,000. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah. Okay. So we're on track so far to, making some good payouts. But if this was a combine, I would have already passed because the max profit target is 3,000. So I would have been past the combine. I would have been moved into an XFA by now. If anything, I'd be looking at already getting my first payout and making my max drawdown at 5K or 50K, and I definitely would have my first payout at 2,000, and I would have at least like 500 in the account for like a safety net, or at least 1,000, just being safe. But yeah, so that's not bad. Yeah, I'm starting to like keep track of this stuff and try to like be aware of it. But what I was talking about in the notes here, or was it the notes? Where is it? Oh yeah. So improving. What I was talking about like improving emotions and like keeping track of it is during trades now, especially during this week and last week at least. A little bit last week, but this week it's starting to get a little crazier. But I'm starting to get a little too much emotionally reactive to these trades. Like, it's getting to the point where I want to like just exit it. Especially like today's first trade, I was really scared. But like I literally have to basically force myself. Like, it's like my brain has to take over my emotions and go, stop. You're about to make yourself look like a fool. You can exit the trade, yes. I could exit those trades. But then as you can see, they went up. So what would that... I would have been sitting there like this. Wow. I just exited because I was scared. And now I could have won. So I have to like remain that type of composure. But at the same time, that could come and bite me in the ass. So overall, I'm just trying to keep a steady balance of self-control. Anyway, this video is longer than it needs to be. I am tired as hell. It's 9:56 a.m. So I need to make some dinner. And I need to take my ass to sleep. It is my short week for work. So I have a lot of things to do this weekend as well. And next week. So this week and next week is going to be some crazy ass training sessions, work sessions, and life, you know, IRL sessions and shit. I mean, I got a lot to do, man. I'll see y'all next week, though. Peace out, man.